Alright, hey guys, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you are new here. Now, in today's video, we're going to be doing something that I have never done before. I was browsing through the Petsmart app not too long ago, and thought of this idea to go to Petsmart and buy the worst aquarium there. So I found in the Petsmart app, there's a way to sort their aquariums by top rated to least rated. So like the best 5-star tanks at the top, and the worst tanks are at the bottom. So I want to buy the absolute worst tank, the lowest reviews, all 1-star reviews, and see what the deal is. So I have the Petsmart app right here. We're going to go ahead and get that up on the screen so you can see what's going on. So I'm going to come right over here in the Petsmart app. I'm going to click on starter kits, and this will show us all of Petsmart starter kits. Now some of their starter kits aren't that bad. This top one right here, the 3.5 gallon tank, I know that one's a pretty good tank. I know people that have that tank. It's a great beta fish tank. Then there's just their standard top fin starter kits, you know, the basics. But we're going to go up here to filter, sort by top rated. So now at the top of our list should be all the good tanks. So we have a column starter kit, a 10-gallon starter kit, and these are all just basic 4-star tanks, you know, whatever. But let's scroll down to the bottom. So now I'm just going to go ahead and keep scrolling here. There's a whole bunch of tanks. Some of these I've never actually even seen before. We have 4 stars. As you can see, tons of different tanks. These are all starter kits. That's the section I looked in. We have some that have 2 stars, and I think we're getting into the juicy section here. There we go. Right there, the 1-star aquarium. The rest don't have reviews. As we scroll down, like these BioOrb tanks, they don't have reviews, so we can't really count them. But this one right here, the Top Fin Beta Flow Beta Aquarium, 1.2 stars out of 5, 58 reviews. Okay, that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. Let's just take a look at it. So it looks like some sort of waterfall tank. It's 2.5 gallons, but divided among 3 fish. That doesn't really make sense. There's little lids, there's a power adapter. I don't think there's a light on the tank, so that's weird. Not much about it. Let's read some of the reviews first though. Alright, the first one, terrible. The lights quit working. Okay, so there are lights. I'm not sure where they are, but there are. There's a short power cord and the water level has to be perfect or else it will leak everywhere. Oh, we might have a leaking tank on our hands. Okay. Scrolling down a little bit, we have, oh, another one saying the tank leaks. Great. Another one saying the tank leaks. Okay, so basically the cord is too short, the tank leaks everywhere, the flow is too strong for beta fish, and each container is too small for beta fish. So now that we know that this tank is highly, highly not recommended, let's go buy it. Okay, so without further ado, I'll go ahead and pick this up at Petsmart, and hopefully we'll find, hopefully, they'll have the 1-star tank. They literally didn't. After all that, they didn't have the tank. That's why I'm filming this part 2 weeks later. So I actually waited for the tank to come back in stock, and it never did. So because the real worst aquarium couldn't be found, which maybe is a good thing, I decided to look for the second worst aquarium. So pop back, here we are on the Petsmart app. Gonna do the exact same thing I did, except this time I'm gonna go for the item that's not at the very bottom. I'm gonna go for the item that's kind of still very, very low, but the lowest rated item that's actually still in stock. And I happened to find it. So this time what I'm gonna go ahead and do is order this tank, but I'm gonna order it for store pickup just in case it's actually not in stock. I've had that happen before where things say they're in stock in the app, but they're actually not. I'm gonna place an order for in-store pickup so we actually guarantee that we get the tank. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then I'll come back here a little bit later, hopefully saying our order is ready for pickup and we didn't lose the tank, which has happened before. Ignore the bad lighting, it's nighttime and we're in my car, but I just got the notification that our order is ready to be picked up, meaning it actually was fulfilled. They actually have the tank, so this time we're not gonna be wasting our time. I'm gonna spare you me going to PetSmart again because you already saw that earlier when we were disappointed, but I'll catch you guys back at home with the aquarium.
A few moments later.
So just like that, we actually got the tank this time. And here it is. So this is the Top Fin Beta Flow 2.5 gallon aquarium. Got some features on the back. It's hard for you to see, but it does include a filter, a light, a hood, and then the kind of half moon style tank itself. It's like a radius in the front, but has a flat back. But now before we get into this, I want to read actually some of the reviews on PetSmart's website, or kind of talk about what the general consensus is on why this tank is so poorly rated. Now, I've come across a couple things. The filter was too weak. Then someone said that the filter itself takes up way too much room, so this is a 2.5 gallon tank, and that's basically the minimum for a betta fish. But if the filter takes up half a gallon, it's really only a 2 gallon tank for your betta to swim in, so that could totally be an issue. We'll have to check out how big the filter chamber actually is. And other people were saying that it was leaking, much like the other worst aquarium. So without further ado, now that we kind of know what to expect, here's a little picture right there. But now that we know what to expect, let's actually crack this open. Now I'm surprised to find out that this tank is glass. I didn't think it was gonna be glass, but it actually is. So pretty basic unboxing right here. We literally just have the tank. I lied, we also have the power adapter. And then here is the tank itself. Now, my first reaction is actually, I kind of like this aquarium. Like, it's actually kind of cool. I'm just gonna take it out of this plastic wrap. But here is the tank. So it is glass, as you can see. This back part is the filter, so it does have this whole back section of the filter. There's a little waterfall, supposedly, that dumps water back in. We have a little feeding thingy right here. This is just a little plastic lid that goes on top. There are 3 LED lights under this piece. Right there, as you can see. We'll take this out. And this whole back piece is the filter. And I do agree with some of the reviews. That is a huge filter for such a small tank. It really doesn't need to take up that much space. In fact, this wall right here where the intake is hollow. There's nothing in there. Talk about unused space. This entire back portion right here is just hollow, and it's not swimming room for the fish. So I'm not quite sure what the point of that is. And then digging deeper back here, this is the only form of filtration. So we have all of this back here. There's a pump down there and one tiny filter cartridge. No bio balls, no other form of mechanical filtration, nothing. Just totally hollow, a pump, and a filter cartridge. One thing I do like about this little open space is you could put a heater in there, which is recommended for betta fish. But you could also put a heater in this smaller section right here. Betta heaters are not that big, especially for such a small aquarium. But I guess that's a pro. There's room to fit a heater if you needed one. But huge con is a huge waste of space. Here is a better look at the filtration unit. Pump right here, filter cartridge right here. And then here is empty space. I will say I do like how the filter comes out for easy cleaning. That is really nice, actually. But other than that, this design confuses me. As for the front of the tank itself, it looks pretty cool. We'll have to go ahead and see how it looks when we get water in it. And then here is the little LED lights. So without further ado, now that we've seen the tank, let's actually go get it somewhere to set it up, do this tank a little bit of justice, and try to get it to look nice and pretty. So I'll catch you maybe tomorrow when I get a chance to set the tank up.
20 minutes later.
Okay, so I managed to set the tank up right here, as you can see, and I actually made use for one of the back chambers. Now what I did, and it's not recommended at all, but what I did was I took all the excess pump cord, which is safe to be in water because the pump's in water, and shoved it down this chamber right there. Then I only have this one little short pump cord right here instead of the whole crazy long cord. That means when this lid is on, I only have this short cord going straight to the plug. And that was the only thing I found useful for these crazy, weird filter things in the back. I'm just gonna take the lid off real quick and put some white sand in there. Now, I think the white sand will keep this tank looking bright and clean. We don't want it looking dark and dingy, and even with the small light, I think black sand will just kind of suck the light out of this aquarium. So we'll set this up with some white sand, and now we just have to fill it up. Okay, it has been about 2 days, and I went ahead and let the tank cycle through. It was really foggy and nasty in the beginning, so I went ahead, let it filter, let it cycle, do its little thing for a few days, and now we're ready to add some decor, some live plants, and a couple fish. So what I'm gonna do to make sure the water is ready for the fish is condition the water, which I've already done with water conditioner, super easy. And then to cycle the tank, I have a whole bunch of live plants from another tank that are full of good bacteria. And I also put an old filter cartridge from an old aquarium in here. That way it brings over all the beneficial bacteria to instantly cycle this tank. And being that it is so small, that's really not an issue. A little bit of bacteria goes a long way. But now that we've had a chance to look at this 2.5 gallon mini aquarium, let's start getting some plants in here. I don't want to bore you with that process, so I'll just throw us right into a time lapse. And the tank is done. It doesn't look bad, it doesn't look great. I will say the glass does distort the view of the aquarium a lot. So like that little oak barrel thing, I don't even know what they're called. They look huge in there when in reality they're only like this big. So the front radius glass makes things in the tank look a little bit bigger. That's not really a problem, it's not really a bad thing or a good thing. Just something to remember that your decor is gonna look way bigger than it really is. And then another thing I've noticed is that this top gets a lot of condensation. Once again, not really something you can prevent. It just makes the tank not look as good from the top down, which isn't that big of a deal. It's just something to take note of. Here are the 5 little guppies we will be putting in this 2.5 gallon tank. Now the tank is the perfect size for some small baby guppies. As these guppies get bigger, they'll probably outgrow the tank. We do have a heater in there, keeping the water at a perfect 78 for these guys, which is exactly what these tropical fish need. So we'll go ahead and start acclimating these guys, and then as soon as the fish are all acclimated and in the tank, I'll go ahead and give them a couple days to get used to the tank, and then we'll come back for a final review on this aquarium to see if it's worth the 45 bucks or not. I'm just gonna stick these guys into acclimate real quick, like so, and we'll give it about 15 minutes.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Just like that, our baby guppies are all done acclimating. I'm just gonna go ahead and dump these guys right into their new home, just like so. So they'll go ahead and check things out and explore, but let's take a closer look at them and see how they're doing in the new 2.5 gallon tank. So my first impressions are telling me that this tank really isn't that bad at all. It is a bit expensive, I will say that, for what it is. It's very expensive and it does not include a heater. There are much better kits that give you much better value for around the same price. However, because I already have the tank and I did already purchase it, so far I'm not hating it. I think the little filter waterfall's cool, the fish seem to be enjoying it and the fish seem to be happy, and the light seems way brighter than I thought it was gonna be. However, only time will tell. So I'm gonna go ahead and let these guys do their little thing, let our plants kind of grow in a little bit, and I'll be back in a few days to see exactly how this tank's doing and give my final thoughts. Okay, it is current day now, so it is approximately 5 days later from the last clip you saw. I'm sorry it's echoing here, there's nothing I can do about it. So I'm filming this just a couple hours before this goes live on YouTube, so I thought I would go ahead and give you my final review of the PetSmart tank, just to wrap it up and give a nice little pros cons list of the $45 2.5 gallon PetSmart 1-star aquarium. So starting with the pros, I love the radius curved glass. I love that the tank is glass. I think glass tanks look a lot better than plastic tanks, so that is definitely a pro for sure. I also like how the filtration system is built into the tank. However, that will show up in the cons list, unfortunately. And I also liked how easy the tank was to set up. But other than those 3 things, there isn't anything that kind of drew me to this tank over any other tank. Other than that, it's really not super special. I mean, the little waterfall thing is cool, but it's kind of a take it or leave it kind of thing. Now moving into the cons, there's definitely more cons than pros. Unfortunately, that's probably why this tank is a 1-star tank. One of the main issues in my opinion is the price. A 2.5 gallon tank should not be $45. There's no heater included, which in my mind for the price, it definitely should be included. So overall, the value is not very good for what you get. There's so many better options. For like just a few more dollars, you can get like a 10 gallon kit that comes with lights, heater, filter, the whole thing. So a 2.5 gallon tank for 45 bucks is not that good of a deal. The next con is obviously the filtration setup. It's set up very poorly. There is room for a heater, which is nice, but their overall lack of well-used space is an issue. There's a whole bunch of empty space back there, and it's really just poorly designed. The next thing I don't like is the intake grates. For such a small aquarium, the intake, like actual portion in the back wall of the tank where the water flows in, is way too big. It's a small tank, you're gonna keep small fish in here. There's no need for the holes to be that big. I was gonna put red cherry shrimp in here, wouldn't work because they would all get sucked back by the filter. So that's a big problem. I'm sure the people who made this tank know that it's a small tank, you can keep small fish in it. Well, that really limits your fish selection if all small fish can just get sucked right into the filter. So that's an issue for sure. The final issue is gonna be with the light. While the light does work and it is great for viewing the fish, it's not great for live plants. The way that 3 LEDs are set up, they're very weak and they do not cast light around the tank very well. It's very much just a centered spotlight, so it won't do much in terms for plant growth. All in all though, these 6 guppies I put in here originally are still doing good, so that is a plus. The tank is capable of keeping fish alive, but that also could be the way I set it up for success. Regardless, the fish have been going strong for about a week, which is amazing. However, I'm not quite sure how long it will keep them in this aquarium. I feel like it is a little bit small for guppies. I would prefer it to be, 3.5, 5 gallon-ish 2.5 gallons is just really small, especially with a lot of that space being taken up by the filter. So I can't really recommend this tank for tropical fish or even a betta fish, unfortunately, and that's probably why it has such poor reviews. Anyways, I hope you guys liked coming along with me on this journey of finding the worst starter kit aquarium at PetSmart and doing a quick little review on it. So that is my final thoughts for the top fin betta aquarium. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have any comments or questions, don't forget to leave them down below. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and goodbye.